So thank you for joining today's session on the Leadership Award. Obviously, we're just running this as part of Welcome to introduce you to all the different things we offer here at CUSU, and one of the things we do offer is the Leadership Award. So in today's session, we'll be going through a few different things, but just a quick bit of housekeeping before we start off. As I said, this session is being recorded and we're made online afterwards within the next week or so. If you have any questions throughout, you can either put your hand up or just ask, or you can pop it in the chat. Whichever you would prefer, that's absolutely fine. I'm more than happy to ask. And as I said earlier, if you're not talking, just mute your microphone, just reduce background noise. And obviously it's up to you whether you want to be on or off camera. So thank you, to get that out of the way. So my name is Jodie Brown. I'm the Employability Skills Manager for Coventry University Students' Union. So I've popped my contact details there. So that's my direct email, which is AC7999. So I'm more than happy to help you with any queries, but if you have anything generally relating to employability, then it'd be great for you to contact employability.su@coventry.ac.uk. And you can also give us a follow on our Instagram, which is cusu.employability, and you can find out everything to do with the CUSU Awards using that hyperlink just there. Like I say, this recording will be made available afterwards, so you can check out all these links, but if you do want them sent to you, just pop it in the chat and I'll happily pop it in there. But it'd be great to obviously hear a bit about you. So obviously, as I said, I'm the Employability Skills Manager. I help to run the reward side of like reward schemes as a part of the Students' Union, and those are the different things just to help to make you more employable for when you graduate. So it'd be great to obviously hear just a little bit about you, so your name and what you're studying, and just a little bit about yourself. So Shani, did you want to go first? I don't know if you can hear me, Shani, if you want to introduce yourself. Oh, I can't seem to hear it. So that's absolutely fine if you're having some technical issues. So Javeria, did you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Javeria and I'm studying computer science. I'm in my second year.
Great. So
I don't know what to say.
No, it's absolutely fine. So you just here to learn a bit more about the award, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. No, that's great. Thank you. And Tafika, I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong.
Yes, hi, my name is Tawfiq and I am studying civil engineering and I'm in second year.
Lovely. Oh, that's great. So we've got a couple of second years then. Shani, if you manage to get your tech working, just let me know. But it's great to obviously meet you. Oh, you popped it in the chat. Oh, your mic doesn't seem to be working. That's absolutely fine. You'll see that you popped that in the chat. Don't worry, we won't have these technological issues, but so you're welcome to obviously pop any questions or anything that you may have into the chat, and I'll more than happily help you. So it's great to meet you all, and thank you all for joining today. So in today's session, we'll be it's just a good way to find a bit more about the award, and just all be done by Zoom on this session. So I'll be going into what the Leadership Award is, the value of the award, the different levels that it has, what the Leadership Award recognises, how you apply the verification process, and then I'll have a little bit of time for questions at the end. So that's just a bit of an overview of today's session. So I'm just going to dive straight in. So do you guys know anything about the Leadership Award? It seems like you're not quite sure at the moment, and you're kind of here to learn a bit more, but if you do know anything, you're welcome just to pop it in the chat. But if you don't know anything, that's absolutely fine, because that's probably why you're at this session. So I'll just hop on to the next slide. So basically the Leadership Award, so the CUSU Leadership Award recognises your involvement and activities within extracurricular activities while studying at Coventry University. So it's kind of when you're studying, so you're doing your computer science or whatever it is, alongside that you will be doing other things. So you might be, say, a rep on your course, you might be doing some volunteer work, you'll be doing all these extra different things to boost your CV. And the Leadership Award is a formal way of recognising all these amazing things that you're doing, and recognising the level at which you're achieving it. It's just something extra to put on your CV to make you stand out, because I'm sure, as you know, that the job market It's very competitive. And here at the Students' Union, we want to make you look amazing, and we do, part of the way we do this is through the leadership award, just to make you, stand out from the crowd. So as it says here, you can showcase the skills you've developed in a format that can be digitally viewed by potential employers. So obviously you can when you submit your application, it comes through to us, we verify it, and then we basically email you your certificate, so you get it as a PDF, so that way you can if you need to send it as part of an application, have it as part of your LinkedIn profile or anything like that. It is really easy to do that because of the way we share it with you, because a lot of things are more digital now than ever. So the leadership award is just a great way to, recognise everything you're doing and make sure that, what you're doing, you can use towards your future, basically. So just go on to the next one. So the value of the award. So as I said, it can distinguish you from the crowd, and it can recognise activities you're already doing. So I will be going on to saying what the award does recognise. You might not realise that these things can actually be recognised through the award, certain things that you're already doing. And the award application process, as I'll show you today, is so quick and easy and simple. It doesn't take an awful lot of time. So it just makes sense if you're already doing it to actually apply. It can formalise your activities, so you might be doing something quite casual, but this is a good way of demonstrating it in quite a formal way that is, very visually easy for future employers to understand. Because obviously you can present the skills that you've developed, which I'll go through in the application process, showing you how you identify and showcase your skills in your application form. Because this is all about, the leadership award is all about showcasing your leadership skills to future employers, because you are our future leaders. So as I say, there's 3 levels available, I mentioned earlier. So you have bronze, silver and gold. So the differentiations between them is bronze is more of an introductory level, so it's more about participation. So for instance, it could be that you are participating in a society, so you might be a society member, so you're part of things, you kind of help things out, but you're not active, so you're not a leading part of the committee, but you are still participating. Or it could be you are, say, a casual volunteer at a charity shop, so doing some absolutely amazing work there, but it's more you're participating rather than leading, and it tends to be a lower number of hours. When you get onto silver, it's more active participation. So it will be, for instance, another thing they could recognise is being a course rep. So it could be that you are an active course rep, voicing, your fellow students' voices to the leaders of your course, and, attending meetings and starting to make a bit more of a change, and you're doing a bit more hours. And then gold, that is when you're doing a lot of hours. So, you're doing high double digits, getting towards 100 hours, say, and you are really making a leadership or a change. So you could be a senior course rep, you could be the president of a society or a sports club, you're leading things, or you could be on a campaign and you're taking a real leadership role within that campaign. So those are kind of differentiations. So when you apply, you'll need to choose which level you are applying for. However, we do realise that you might not be 100% sure as to what you're applying for. So we're happy for you to just say, I think it's bronze, or I think it's silver. But if when we're doing the verification process, we're oh, it doesn't quite reach the criteria, we'll just alter it. So say if you apply for silver, but it's more of a bronze, we'll modify that. However, if you do apply for silver, well, actually, this deserves a gold, will also up you as well. So that'll be done through the verification process, which I'll run through what that is. So, if you're applying and you're a bit oh, I'm not quite sure, we're more than happy for you to just do what you think is best. Or when you're submitting an application, you're more than welcome, as I've given you my details, to drop me an email and say, oh, I've done this, these are the kind of skills that I developed, these are the hours that I've done, what level would you recommend that I apply for? And I can give you some advice. So that is always an option for you to do. So the Leadership Awards will be opening on the 4th of October, so you've got a little bit of time after today's session to think about it, and they'll be open until the middle of November. So you get 6 weeks in which to apply for it, because the Leadership Award opens 3 times a year. So it opens 6 weeks each term. So you have more, so you can apply multiple times a year. And sometimes you might be doing something, say now, but you won't complete the activity until, say, for instance, April, but you will have a chance in the 3rd term to apply for it. But it's good to obviously get the information now. And then, so when you do come to apply for it, you fully understand the process. And when you're doing your activities, you're thinking about how this can lead to your Leadership Award and everything like that. So I hope this is making sense so far. Any questions, like I say, do just pop it in the chat, but I'll be showing you the website in a minute where all this information I'm talking about is. And like I say, happy to have any follow-up one-to-ones via Zoom or anything like that. More than happy to help. So the Leadership Award recognises quite a few different activities. So I've given a few of these examples already. So an example would be like a course rep, activity rep, or welfare rep. So these are obviously all different activities that you can participate in as a student. You can be a volunteer. So this could be like an online opportunity, or it could be in, you know, out in the community, or you could be volunteering on a campaign. So Students' Union run various campaigns throughout the year, so you could be volunteering as part of that. You could be a member of a sports club or society. You could also be part of the committee of a sports and society. You could be a placement. So for instance, the Students' Union, we run advantage modules, and one of these advantage modules, if you're on level 2, it'd be called A204. If you're at year 3, it's A304. And as part of this placement, as part of this module, you do a 30-hour placement within a Students' Union, and that can be recognised through the Leadership Award. As part of that placement, you are developing leadership qualities. You could be a student officer or a sabbatical officer, and that can be recognised through an award. You could be part of KUSU Student Media. So for those of you who don't know, Students' Union have their own student media team. So they do all photography, they have like a radio channel, there's loads, you know, they do all video and recording. So if you're interested in any of that kind of stuff, that is a great place to get involved with. You could be an election candidate. So every year we have elections that run, and by being a candidate as part of that election, you will develop leadership skills. And, you know, being a candidate, you can qualify for a bronze or a silver leadership award. You can also be an EDI champion. You can be a peer mentor, which is something that we help to run. And then, you know, there are other Students' Union and university related activities that can be recognised. So this isn't completely exhaustive. These are just the very common roles that get applied for. But if you're doing something and you're like, oh, I'm not sure if this would qualify for, you know, a leadership award, just feel free to drop me a message and I'll tell you whether it would apply or not. Just to save you doing the application, if you just come straight to me, I'll be more than happy to help. So the Leadership Award, the big thing about the Leadership Award is that it recognises the leadership skills that you had developed, and it kind of demonstrates them in quite a visual way. So there are an awful lot of skills that the Leadership Award does recognise, but these are some of the most common skills that are identified through, you know, your fellow students when they're completing the award. So the first is team working skills. You've got communication, decision making, creativity, timekeeping, inclusivity, administration, planning, marketing, research. So, but there's so many more. So, you know, if you think you're doing something that, you know, can lead to them. So say you might be like part of a society and you're doing all these like team working skills, you know, working with your fellow society to like put on events, or, you know, make, or, you know, when if you're part of a rep, you're part of the rep system, working with your other reps to make changes. And, you know, through that you're doing decision making, you're being creative. So you're probably doing all these skills without actually realizing. So there's loads of ways you can demonstrate your skills. Like, again, this is not exhaustive. This is just an example of the skills that can be recognized through the award, just to give you a bit of an idea as to what the award does and does not recognize. So how to apply. Just taking a drink. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hop off this presentation and go to the KUSU website, and I'm going to go through what exactly you will see and the step-by-step process as to how to apply. Now, just to let you know, to apply for this award, you will just need to have like a profile set up on the Students' Union website if you don't already. But it's very easy to do. Any questions on that, just let me know. So let me just go to the KUSU website and I will show you exactly how you do the application process. So you should now be able to see the website. You should see the front page of the KUSU website. If I'm talking about something and it's not appearing, please do just let me know, because it should just be the website now. So bear me 2 seconds. So when you get, so you need to type in cusu.org and you'll get greeted with this web page. And what you need to do is you need to go to menu here on the left hand side and you click on employability. And then you scroll down and you find the button that says KUSU Leadership Award. Now everything I've gone through today is here. So you can see this is obviously, you've got the details about the different levels of awards. So you've got bronze, you've got gold, you've got silver. So this quite in a lot of detail talks about what the different levels are and kind of what qualifies for each level. So if you want any more detail on that, this is a great place to look. There is a video on here also about applications, so you can also watch that one as well. Each term we do training workshops, which is very similar to this, but you're more than welcome if you have any questions just to pop along to that. Details of those will be added in shortly as to when they're running each term. Those again will be taking place on Zoom, but there might be one that might take place in the courtyard, but details are to follow. And this is all about, this section is about the process that you undergo to apply. So the first stage is application. The second stage is leadership portfolio. So obviously this is all you providing evidence for your submission. And then once you've applied and you've submitted all your evidence, it gets sent to myself and it goes through verification. So the verification only happens once a term. So it's open for 6 weeks. So we get all your applications in, then at the end of 6 weeks, it then closes. We then go in to review all the applications, and it can take 4 to 6 weeks after the closing date for all the awards to be verified and you to be contacted regarding your certificate. So it's just because obviously we let all the applications come in first and then we verify it that way. And then you'll get a notification. So that is basically how it works. So it's quite straightforward, hopefully. So all the information, that a lot of what I've gone through today so far has appeared on here. So you feel free to take a little look on here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to talk you through the process of how you submit awards. So what you need to do is when you're ready, you click this button, submit new award. So it will then, you can see I just was testing it earlier. So you'll be greeted with just saying submit award, not submit another. It's just because I was testing the system out earlier. But this shows that you can submit more than one, you can submit multiple, because one leadership award only recognises one activity. So for instance, if you are, say, done some volunteer work and you're a rep, but you want leadership awards to recognise them, you'll need to submit one application to do with your rep activities and one application to do with your volunteering activities, because that's how the award is broken down. And that way you get an award which is specific around the activity which you have done. So hopefully that makes sense. So now when you get to this window, you just need to submit award or submit another, whichever it is for yourselves, and it will take you to this screen. So first what you need to do is you need to submit just a few details about yourself. So my name is Jodie, and you put your university email in here. Obviously put your full name in there. So I'll put my full name in. Put your full name in there, and then you need to put your email, preferably your university email. That'd be great. And then you pop that in there, and then you pop your student ID number in here. So that's your digit in there, and then your contact number. So this is up to you if you want to put this in here, and we very rarely use it. Mostly we communicate by email, so it's obviously it's not a compulsory field, and it is optional if you would like to add your number in there or not. So you need to, once you've added in just like a few identifiers about yourself, you'll then need to select your role. So you click this drop down menu, and there'll be a few more added in here when the award launches. This is just an example survey which I'm doing now just to demonstrate. So you can say, oh, okay, I am a society committee member. So that is, you are, I don't know, a president or a treasurer or an inclusions officer or whatever it is, you know, because there's so many different roles depending on different societies and what they do. So you've selected that you're a committee member, then you go next. Then this will take us on to specifically what is your role. So there's actually an example here. So if, for example, if you are a society committee, you might write treasurer of tabletop gaming. So let's just say that we are the treasurer . Sorry, I do apologise. My typing is not the best. Gaming. Oh, I can see that one of you's popped a question in. What does an inclusion officer do, and what about a treasurer? So an inclusion officer is kind of making sure everything's really inclusive. They do stuff around activities. It does vary with role to role. So that's generally what an inclusion officer does. A treasurer, I was actually a treasurer of part of a society when I was studying at Commerce University many years ago. So as a treasurer, you're responsible for the finances of the society. So that's a summary of what they do. I hope that helps. Any further questions, like I say, just pop it in the chat. So, but it does depend on each role, but hopefully you should have a bit of an insight about what your role is. If you don't have a specific title, so say, I know, for instance, volunteering could be a little bit more casual. You can just say like volunteer in a charity shop. You don't have to put a very formal title. It's just to give us an indication of what your role is. So under this, you could say what you really enjoyed about the role. So just put a short description. So you could say, oh, I just really enjoyed meeting new people who were interested in gaming, like tabletop gaming, or, you know, it was a good way for me to develop my finance skills, or, or it's just something good to do in my spare time. You kind of tell you what you enjoyed about the role, and then you pop here what you can do, you think could have been better. So this can be used for improvements, because here at Students Union we're always wanted to improve things and make things better for you. So it might be that, you know, there's something that you say like, oh, it could have been better in this way or that way, that you're welcome to put a note there. If there's nothing that could be better, that's absolutely fine. Just put not applicable in there. That's absolutely fine. So once you've done that, you click next, and it will take you to the award information. So this is when you need to decide whether you're applying for bronze, silver or gold. So let's just say that we're going to go for silver, and let's just say we're doing, I don't know, or actually let's go for gold because we're on a committee. Let's just say we're doing 84 hours. As you can see, it's just a scroller. You just scroll along, select what you're doing, you know, and we'll go for 82 now. So you can just do with that. So you need to put here what you accomplished in the role. So these are the main accomplishments that you have achieved. So for instance, what did you achieve as treasurer of Tabletop Game? Maybe it's that you helped to rejuvenate finances, or you gave a more, you know, you helped to, you know, say, you know, you helped create fundraising ways, or it could be that, you know, you helped to make it a bit more organized, you know, or, you know, you felt that you contributed to making the society more successful, or, you know, you made sure that funds were used appropriately. Whatever you feel that you achieved that was really well. So that relates to this role. If you're doing volunteering, it could be, say, oh, I felt like I made a positive contribution which helped with the continuation of the organisation. Whatever it is that you feel that you accomplished really well in this role, please note this is a maximum of 500 characters, and make sure you check the spelling, as this might not necessarily be checked by the team, as this will actually appear on your certificate. So you'll get a certificate, and on the front it will say like your name, the level you've applied for, and then the role. And on the reverse side, so it's double-sided, it will say, it will have this short 500-word description of what you achieved in this role. So this is where you're highlighting everything that's developed. So this is really good for employers, just to be like, oh, look, they developed this skill, that's absolutely great. And then next to it, you'll have your key skills that you have developed, which I'll come on to in a moment. But yeah, make sure you fill in that section, and 500 characters, and just check all your spelling and everything like that. Then you go on to next. So as you're applying for gold, you need to select 5 skills. If you're doing bronze, it's 2. So the amount of skills you need to demonstrate will increase based upon the award. So you need to choose a skill. As I said, there's loads of skills that it recognises. So this is, as I say, an example at the moment. So you could say you developed like leadership skills, and you just detail here, oh, I developed leadership skills through X, Y, and Z. This is how I demonstrated it. And then you can say, oh, I developed personal skills. So like, you can say something you developed personally. And another one, it can be communication. So, oh, I learned how to communicate finances to the rest of society. As I say, there'll be more skills for you to choose from in this drop-down menu. This is just an example of what the form will look like. But when it launches on the 4th of October, there'll be loads of skills for you to choose from. And these key skills that you select here will appear on the certificate. So make sure you choose these wisely. And when you are talking about how you use a skill, this is for us just, to understand and make sure you had demonstrate you fulfilled the skill requirements and you did enough to demonstrate this skill. So make sure you don't skip too much on the details provided here. So hope that makes sense so far. So once you've done that, you can detail it in this section here called other skills. That it's a free type box. It's not appearing at the moment because, as I say, this is a working model, but there'll be a free type box in here where you can just add other skills that you feel you've developed and that you also want to be like. These won't feature on your certificate, but they can support with your application. It's the ones in the previous page that will actually appear. So once you've done that and you're happy, you click next. So you come on to verification. So verification is something that I've mentioned a little bit today. So this is the bit where so you'll submit your application, but you need evidence to support it. So this can be in form of a document of evidence and someone who's a verifier. So this verifier will be, so say for instance, if you are a student rep, it will be a member of the rep student voice team. So whoever looks after your faculty area, whoever you report into, you can put their details in here, be it whether it's Josh or if it's Courtney or if it's Wendy, whoever it is, you can pop their details in here. So you pop their name in here, pop their role in here, and their best contact email in here, and you can also put a telephone number in there. But you must make sure that you speak to your verifier and just drop them an email just saying, I'm applying for a leadership award, I just need a verifier, just so if they do need any more details around my application or to confirm my application, just so they're aware their details are being shared, and when, if it's myself or a member of the team do contact them, they're not confused or caught unawares. So just making sure that you contact them before. So that once you've done that, so basically the person who you reported into, so it could be when you're volunteering, your supervisor, whoever it is, whoever you intend to report into a lot, if it's in the community, so volunteering, it's fine if it's in the community. If it's within the student union or university, put their contact details in there. So once you've done that, you'll come on to self-verification. So self-verification is basically where you reflect on the skills and everything that you've developed as part of your leadership process. So, you can just say, just generally what you enjoyed about your role and what you've learned and why you're really happy, just reflecting upon everything that you've done. And then once you've done that, you come onto the self-verification document. Now, this is mainly what is supported as evidence. So Normally when you've done a role, you must, you will have some kind of evidence that you've done it. So as you can say here, you must upload a document to act as evidence to support your application as a required element of this evidence. So obviously we'll check this evidence and we will not be able to, because obviously without it, we won't be able to verify your award. An example of what a verification document could be is, so it's a timesheet. So if you've done a placement, maybe it's a timesheet from your placement. Again, volunteering, you might have some kind of timesheet, some kind of signed off document from your supervisor, just signing off that you've completed something or done something. If it's maybe, you're showing that you've hosted an online event, maybe it's a recording of that event, a confirmation email from a supervisor or a member of staff. So maybe it's just a confirmation saying from whoever it is that you're verified to say, I confirm that, say it's me, I confirm that Jodie has done this to this amount of hours and to this standard, etc. And you can share that email. It could be pictures. So if it's an event, maybe it's pictures from the event, or just any kind of form of tracking document. So what you need to do is you just need to choose a file, and then say you just maybe say it's a picture, and you upload it, and it'll just upload there. So obviously we'll look through your application, the role, the skills you developed, the level you're applying for. We'll then come on to this evidence that you're uploading as self-verification. And we'll use that to verify your award. If we have any questions, we'll contact you. And if we do have any further questions, that is when we will go on to contact the verifier, which details you've given the above. So that is basically how the verification process works. It's just to make sure that what you're saying you've done, you've actually done, basically. It's nothing scary or anything like that. So, and then at the end, so once you've done all that, you can say whether you're happy to provide a testimonial or not. That's up to you. Then you hit next. And this is just a bit of us to find out how you found out about us. So it could be found out through, say, the QSU website, you found out about the QSU Awards. And then if you selected other, pop it in there. Whether you'd recommend the Leadership Award to a friend, hopefully you would. That'd be nice if you did. And just a bit, say easy or very easy. I think it's quite easy. Hopefully you do too. How you found the award, and then you can choose a testimonial image. This is up to you if you want to upload. So it's basically a photo of yourself. It's up to you whether you want to upload something or not. Again, that's not compulsory, it's optional. And then you can provide a small testimonial statement about yourself, just a little bit about yourself in general, which is external to your application. So that's just for us to get to know you a little bit. So once you've done that, you click next, and then basically this is just a declaration. So this is basically you saying everything you have popped in this application to the best of your knowledge is true and accurate. So that's your name, your student ID, your relevant memberships, the evidence, and the supporting award information. You must make sure that everything you submit is as accurate as you possibly can make it. So once you're happy with that, and you agree that you understand, you select yes. And then what you need to do, once you're all happy with that, you hit complete submission, and that will take you to this. So basically, that's it. That is how you apply for the award. It is very straightforward and simple. If when you're doing it, you think, oh, 1 sec, I'm having some confusion, you can pause and come back to it. It's not like if you go off it, you lose it, you can resume it and stuff like that. So, you might be completing it and you're like, oh, actually, I need to get some additional evidence, or I have some questions about this. You can come back to it and everything like that. So I hope that makes sense in terms of that. You'll say when you've submitted and everything like that, and that'll be linked to your profile. So I'm just going to go back to the presentation. So obviously I've gone through how to apply and I've gone through the verification process. So does anybody have any questions on everything that I have gone through today? I know it has been quite quick, but obviously I just wanted to get through everything with yourselves without making it too long, just so you know everything you need to know. If you have any further questions, so the Leadership Award, they are very personal, so every application we get is different. So, if say you're submitting one or your friend's submitting one, they're likely to be very, very different applications. We never get two that are identical, because this is all about recognizing you and the skills you have developed. So Leadership Award, obviously, as I say, it recognises all the activities you've done outside your course, and it's a great way to demonstrate that. So does an educational school rep count for this award? Yeah, if you're an educational school rep, that does count towards the award. So you can select that as one of the things. Like I say, that will appear in the drop down menu. So as I went through earlier and I showed, roles, and I selected a society member and I went into tabletop. So what you need to do is, you select student voice as the area, you select educational rep, and obviously you go on and then you identify specifically your role. Yeah, educational school rep. Like I said, and if you have any questions about roles, it might be, I know you've all just come back and there's so many opportunities available. So it might be that you're getting information at the moment and you might not necessarily have started the opportunity yet, but you're more than welcome, to drop me an email around it or anything like that. But does anybody else have any further questions on it? Like I say, this is recorded. So if you want, this will be made available shortly on the website. So you're more than welcome to obviously watch it back as many times as you like. And any questions, you can just contact me. As I said, my email is ac7999@coventry.ac.uk, or you can email the generic employability. Oh, sorry. Does doing the group work count as last year group project? All the group members had to choose a role, i.e. CEO, head of department, etc. Would the group project count as you're giving the feedback about how we worked as a group about the leadership skills, etc.? Yes, so if as part of the role you were doing group work, like I say, when it comes to skills, you could say team working is one of your skills that you've developed. And then when you come on to say how you develop that skill, you can give this example about how you were given group work and assigned roles and you had to work together as an educational rep. That, yes, that group work can be recognised, because group work is a very valuable skill. There's never a time, when you go into the world of work, there are times where, yes, you are doing things like individually and you have to be very self-motivated and do it on yourself. However, there are many opportunities where you will be working with people, and team working skills is a highly valuable skill. So yes, you working as part of a group, but you still have obviously a role that could be recognised through the leadership award. So I hope that does help to answer that. But does anybody else have any further questions? You're welcome just to shout them out or pop them in the chat. It's up to you. So let me have a look to see if there's any more. So I can't see any more questions at the moment. So just a reminder, as I say, my name is Jodie. So I help to look after the Leadership Award as the Employability Skills Manager. So you've got my contact details there. That's my direct email. You also have the generic employability.su email, and you can give us a follow on kusu.employability, so on Instagram. So we post a lot of updates around the Leadership Award. So when the opening dates are, when it's closing, anything about workshops, any hint and tips or anything like that will get shared on there. And that's great that you're looking forward to applying for it. I'm really glad that I helped. But any questions, just let me know. I've shared all the details, and I just want to say thank you so much for attending today. It's been great to virtually meet you all. I hope this has been useful, and I look forward to receiving all your applications. So thank you so much for joining. I'll be stopping the recording now. But if you do have any questions, don't worry if it's literally straight after the session and you didn't want to ask it in front of anyone else. That's absolutely fine. I completely